This time next week, the nation's top rally drivers will be putting their cars through the paces, storming through the forests of Nannup on round 1 of the Australian Rally Championship Super Series, the Respect Yourself Forest Rally. Well, it's only been a few months now since the 2000 rally season finished, but for most of the teams, the preparation for this year followed on almost immediately. With round 1 now only 6 days away, next weekend will represent just a small part of the equation for the teams. And today on Forest Storm, we'll take an inside look into the world of rallying to show you what goes on in preparing these machines, the drivers and co-drivers for top-level competition. Before we preview Forest Rally 2001, let's find out what happened last year.
This time last year, the battle lines were drawn here at Forest Rally. Australian rallying's major players eager to put their pre-season testing and development through the rigours of competition conditions in the first round of the 2000 National and WA Championships. Competing for the season's first points on the Australian Rally Championship table in their World Rally Class cars were Possum Bourne in his Subaru and Neil Bates in his Toyota, a spectacular duel between the two top-level drivers on the cards. The Group N competition was also set to sizzle thanks to the rivalry between the fancied factory runners of Ed Ordinsky and Cody Crocker. But non-factory assisted drivers such as little-known ex-New Zealander and Perth resident Stuart Warren and WA's Dean Herridge promised to be the dark horses to watch in the class. Local drivers were also lining up in their bids for privateer honours, the likes of Ross McKenzie, Dennis Dunlop and Tolly Chalice joining Dean Herridge on the Australian Rally Championship circuit for the first round of the Respect Yourself Forest Rally. After tough, closely fought battles in all the categories, it was Possum Bourne with the edge over Neil Bates in the World Rally Car class. Group N's Cody Crocker in front of Ed Ordinsky and Dean Herridge, with Herridge faring even more successfully in the privateers class, taking the points over Ross McKenzie. McKenzie will unfortunately be missing from this year's starting lineup, as will WA's most successful female driver, Jackie Dines. Also absent, the Ligfold pairing, 2000 a good year, winning the class in the Forest Rally and eventual national title victors. Stuart Warren, driving a Lancer Evo 1, stunned the field with some blistering stage times and finished the event as Group N runner-up in the WA competition, his speed impressing recently retired Ross Lockhart.
I've retired now, completely, away from the driving side of it, and built up Ultimate Motorsport as my own team. And we've contracted a driver out of New Zealand to drive our car, our team car, and hopefully win the Privateers Cup in the ARC.
Warren will begin the season at Forest Rally 2001 in the team's recently acquired Evo 4 Lancer.
Yeah, last year we ran a Group N Evo 1. It's quite an old car now, and we've had the opportunity to run a Group A Evo 4 this year for Ultimate Motorsport.
Dennis and Jackie Dunlop came away from the Forest Rally 2000 with points from Heat 2, but went on to blitz in each of the following rounds, winning their WA Championship for the second time. The big news for WA was the excellent performance of Dean Herridge in 2000. A consistent performance in the Forest Rally set up the year, with the only hiccup a crash in Heat 2 of the New South Wales event. The year culminated in Herridge winning the Privateers Cup in the most nail-biting finish in Tasmania. He and Queenslander Stuart Reid fought out the championship, final results seeing the pair separated by a mere 3 seconds and 1 point over the entire length of the season. This year will start much more relaxed, with Herridge contracted to drive for Les Walkden, rallying in a full program behind the wheel of a WRX. And despite one of the closest seasons in Australian Rally Championship history, the results of the very first round here in WA uncannily foretold the standings at the end of the season in both the WRC and Group N classes, with Possum Bourne and Cody Crocker winning consecutive titles for them and their manufacturers. Bourne an amazing 5 in a row, and Crocker taking his third.
Now, the key to success in rallying is teamwork, and that's not just among the support staff and pit crew, but teamwork between the driver and co-driver is essential if you want to win rallies. Now, the only way to build that is to spend heaps of time together, and if that's the case, then these two are going to go a long way, because Dennis and Jackie not only work together, but they live under the one roof and, believe it or not, sleep together, because they've been happily married for
28 years now, Teresa.
Not bad, huh? Dennis began rallying as a teenager before he and Jackie married. Giving rallying a rest while they emigrated to Australia and raised a family, it was seeing the WA leg of the 1989 World Rally Championship that stoked the fire in the Scotsman's belly. Together, the Dunlops bought a car and decided that Jackie should be co-driver, a decision that proved to be a key ingredient in the recipe for success.
There's this mystical, magical connection between rally driver and rally co-driver, and it's, you know, there is a lot in it, and yeah, the fact that we know each other's moves intimately, it does help for sure.
After 10 years of rallying together, Jackie and Dennis are understandably chuffed at the trophies they've accumulated, tasting success from the very beginning in the novice classes.
We then progressed through the ranks and got a bit better and won a few state championships, till eventually you get the ultimate prize in WA, which is the WA Championship trophy.
Now look, I can promise you that Dennis and Jackie will not be doing anything like that on the rally, but remember to keep your eyes peeled for these Flying Scots, because before the McRae brothers and Dougal McDougall, there was Dennis and Jackie on their Silverstones lighting up our southwest gravel. So keep your eyes peeled for the red and white number 14 on the Forest Rally.
Modern-day rallying is about bringing the action to the people, as Telstra Rally Australia did with Langley Park. Now, Busselton will have its very own super special stage right here on the Busselton foreshore, and if you're into motorsport, you don't want to miss it.
1.4 kilometres in length, this tarmac special super stage will see the nation's top rally drivers push their machines to the limit. A feature of the course, the middle straight, where speeds in excess of 180 kilometres an hour are expected. Throw in some high-speed kinks and the cars running at 1-minute intervals, the nighttime super special stage will be non-stop excitement.
Thanks, Bill. Now, Busselton is much better known as a beautiful coastal tourism destination, but next weekend the carnival atmosphere combined with the high-octane rally action will certainly see this town come alive.
After the huge success of last year, the Busselton community and local businesses have caught rally fever and will also provide plenty of entertainment on the night.
The support we're getting from the local community through Busselton and Nannup is really terrific. The locals down there are looking forward to the rally and doing everything they possibly can to make life easy for us down there and help us run the event.
From Busselton on Friday, the rally will move to the historic town of Nannup and its famous pine plantations.
Now this is a pretty exciting piece of road, and I'm lucky I'm here this week, because next week this road will be reserved for an excess of 60 adrenaline-charged rally cars. The tightest of bends, the highest of jumps, and trust me when I say an awful lot of dust.
260 kilometres of forest track split up into a number of stages, providing 2 days of non-stop action. And with thousands of people expected to check out the rally, special spectator points have been set up for easier viewing throughout the forest.
Now this has got to be the only place where you can mix cappuccinos with turbocharged rally machines. Again this year, the main street of Nannup will be set up as the service park for competitors, and Nannup will also have its very own super special stage on the local sports oval.
Awesome machines, Australia's top rally drivers and crews, and some of the best roads in the country. What more could you possibly ask for?
The marble-like gravel of our southwest is widely acknowledged by even the international stars of rallying as one of the most challenging surfaces to compete on, so local drivers usually fare well against some of the more fancied names when rallying comes to Western Australia. Here are some of the WA contenders to look out for in this year's Respect Yourself Forest Rally. Subaru driver Alex Stone is looking to continue his good form of last season, where he went on to win the WA Rally Championship Group N title after starting off the year with a top 5 finish in the Forest Rally. Also coming off a fantastic 2000 season is Andrew Hannigan. Not only did he win the state F2 and novice driver titles, he also placed 3rd in his class in the national competition, and it all started with his class victory here last year. Young driver Brad Markovich is hoping to continue his steep learning curve after a consistent season in the Australian Rally Championship. As well as taking home points in the Rally of New South Wales, a great drive in the Forest Rally ensured a solid result at the end of the year. If you're a fan of the Aussie cars, keep your eyes peeled for Paul Bosens, whose strong showing in his Falcon XR6 placed him 3rd in his class at the business end of last season's WA Championship. Another reigning WA title holder is N3 driver Stuart Waters, who began his fantastic season with a victory in his class in the Forest Rally and then capped off a sensational year by winning his class in Telstra Rally Australia. Certainly a young gun to watch out for with his flamboyant front-wheel drive style. Last year, expat New Zealander Stuart Warren finished the first round runner-up in Group N as a privateer. This year we'll find out how he performs in a new car as part of the Ultimate Motorsport team. And then there's our very own Tolly Challis. After a great result in the first heat of the Forest Rally, he continued his 2000 campaign in Tasmania and Telstra Rally Australia. And that's just a few of the long list of locals hitting the dirt next weekend.
To be a rally car driver, they actually do months of preparation on their fitness levels.
Lisa, what on earth are you doing?
Well, I was trying to tell everyone that to be a rally driver, you've got to be fit.
Somehow I don't believe you.
Well, that's what I used to think as well. So do you want a challenge?
I'm in for one.
Learn how to drive like a rally driver.
They sit on their bums all day. You're telling me they've got to be fit? Shall we go? Buckle up.
Okay. The 3 most important skills in rally driving are braking, handbrake turns and throttle control. Bluey mastered the braking technique quickly, so we moved him on to handbrake turns. This requires a fair bit of coordination, and rally drivers use this technique to get them around tight bends quickly. And if I know Bluey, he'll think he's pretty good at this.
You know what? I think I'm getting pretty good at this.
Now, throttle control is what's used to get the car through the trees. It's all about making the car dance on the throttle and making the back end slide. This should test Bluey and his fitness. Now, Rob, you do have to be fit to be a rally driver, don't you?
Absolutely, Teresa. Towards the end of a long stage, 30 or 40 kilometre stage, up to 30 or 40 degrees above the outside temperature on the day. So the driver is losing performance up to a second and a half a kilometre.
Good grief. And you really shouldn't be here today at all, should you?
No, I should be home at my shop, Maximum Motorsport, preparing not only my own car, but also 4 or 5 clients' cars that are also going in the rally.
And when you say your own car, you're competing in what this year?
A Subaru WRX, which we specialise in preparing, but the best thing about it, it belongs to somebody else.
Great. Now, you are twice Australian Rally champion, and the reason we have you here today is I have a feeling Bluey McKenna is going to get out of that car saying, not that hard. So we want you to take him on a great big drive through that forest.
My pleasure.
Fantastic. Let's get the car.
Let's go.
Well, Bluey, how'd you find it?
Yeah, not bad. I can see you need a bit of fitness, but I'm still not convinced.
Now, somehow I knew you were going to say that, so be prepared to be scared.
Okay, bring it on.
best ways you can get mentally fit, physically fit, and at the same time lose a couple of kilos too.
No, well, need any help undoing that buckle?
I beg your pardon?
Rally driving, a test of man and machine, with the ultimate aim of going the fastest possible between point A and point B. Millions of dollars of machinery, thousands of hours of research, development and technology stretching the bounds of human innovation, all in search of fractions of a second and terminal speed. The biggest budgets, the best technicians and the bravest drivers battle side by side, kilometre after kilometre, to determine the victor. All factors considered, there is one above all that has the largest contribution towards success or failure. That factor, tyres. Often overshadowed by the high-tech transmissions and turbocharged power plants, it all comes down to these, dare I say it, round black things. Consider this. On a given piece of rally road, if we compared 2 rally cars and 2 drivers, one fitted with the correct tyres for the conditions, it would result in an advantage to that driver of upwards of 1.5 seconds per kilometre. To achieve the same results, we would need to spend tens of thousands of dollars on an engine horsepower upgrade. The technology of tyre manufacturing includes tread design, rubber compound, tyre width and height, all critical factors in saving that elusive tenth of a second. Italian tyre giant Pirelli are no strangers to the game and have enjoyed the ultimate success with many World Rally Championship titles. Manufacturers work closely with their respective teams, the changing surfaces of countries visited adding substantially to the challenge and their goals. Our unique and now famous West Australian ball bearing gravel has been a topic of many discussion among tyre players. In fact, in the early days of our round of the World Rally Championship, manufacturers gathered samples for sending back to the factory to analyse to produce the perfect tyre for our conditions. Whether it was the marble-style gravel of the Mundaring area or the fine pea gravel of down south, the ideal tyre for the conditions was always available to their drivers. Now, an interesting footnote to our tyre story is that in the recently run Telstra Rally Australia, Spaniard Carlos Sainz stopped his competition car 50 metres short of a finish control. Waiting for a calculated amount of time, he would relinquish his lead, therefore starting further down the order on day 2. The motivation? To be able to compete on a swept road on day 2, giving him an advantage over his rivals. It's really quite simple. Cars slip on the gravel trying to climb a hill like this. If I were to sweep the surface, as would happen if several rally cars have been passed, the cars would get grip and not slip and motor away.
Have you ever wondered what the difference is between a Group A rally car, a Group N rally car and a production car is? Well, it's about $1 million or more, would you believe? We've got all 3 types down here today. We've got your Group A Lancer Evo 4, your Group N Lancer Evo 5, and Mrs. Brock's Commodore, which is just your standard production V6, just like the one that you and I could have parked in the garage at home. Why don't we take them all for a spin and check out the differences? We're doing about 60 kilometres an hour, but thanks to the suspension, most of the large bumps are being absorbed. Also, thanks to things like the roof lining and the sound deadening, it's not as noisy in here as it is in a normal rally car. When you consider how much a production Commodore like this actually weighs, with all the trimmings like aircon, carpets, roof lining and so on, the power to weight ratio and soft suspension mean this is no car to be racing. Just remember that we're driving under controlled conditions and you shouldn't try this at home. Now within Group N there are further categories based on things like engine capacity, but let's take this one for a ride and see how it differs from a production car. Not too much under the bonnet is different. The engine is the same as the model you'd find at your dealer, and the car has to basically stay the same weight as the production version.
We're getting up to around 120 kilometres an hour, which is pretty bloody quick. The suspension is a lot stiffer, which means it's not quite like Mrs. Brock's Commodore with the wallowing and the pitching into corners. All of the things like the roll cage, the helmet and the harness really do help you believe you're in a rally car.
Group N is the production car class where the bulk of the interior fittings must remain. There are certain things that must be changed from a safety perspective, but overall the car isn't too different from the road model. Now this is the beast everyone loves, high-performance thoroughbreds. Group A includes the WRCs or World Rally Cars, and they really are made for the job.
Getting up to around 170 kilometres an hour this time, with really tough suspension and hard seats, it makes for a very, very hard ride. Also, because most of the sound damping, in fact all of the sound damping, the roof liners and most of the car fittings are being removed, it's actually very hot, very noisy and very dusty in here.
Now some Group A's like the Lancer do have roadworthy equivalents. They might well be built on the same technology, but the Group A class has a programmed engine management system, better suspension and much bigger brakes, and all the safety gear. Unlike your ordinary production car, these ones can do over 200 kilometres an hour in dirt in relative safety. Unlike a lot of cars and classes of the past, today's cars pay a lot more attention to the chassis and suspension. When you're storming through a forest on a rally, agility is just as important as power.
Well, that's just a glimpse of what to expect in next weekend's Respect Yourself Forest Rally. And if you want to get closer to the action, get down to the southwest and see it for yourself.
Forest Storm is proudly brought to you by Subaru Australia All-Wheel Drive, Auto One for all of your automotive needs, Novus, the windscreen repair specialists, Day Trader HQ, with them you'll never trade alone, Burswood International Resort Casino, where the action is, Maximum Motorsport, builder, repairers and runners of top-class rally cars, Oztour Coach Lines, superb packages available to all major sporting events, and Valentino Restaurant, great food, wine and coffee in the heart of Northbridge. This has been a Black Olive production for Network 10 Perth.